Hello everyone. How are you? Hope you all are having a good week. Thanks for joining me tonight for Tool Time. Tonight we are going to be talking about CM border punches, which are different from the Border Maker cartridges. But it can get confusing because like this month we actually have a punch, the new Firecracker punch, and we have a flip-flop Border Maker cartridge. And so somebody asked me today, they said, oh no, not today actually, last week, said, oh no, I missed out on the Train Track Border Maker. They thought it was this one, but it's actually one of these ones. So it can get confusing. This is a Border Maker cartridge. This is a Border Maker punch. Yes, you are, Michelle. You are here. Hi, Lori. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight, everyone. So the Border Maker punches are $27.50. All the ones that I'm going to show you tonight are still available on the Creative Memories website and from me. So the Border Maker punches are $27.50. The Border Maker cartridges are $18.50. Obviously, the Border Maker cartridges are a little smaller. This is the size border you get. The size punches for the Border Maker punches are a little bit bigger. So they're going to give you a little bit bigger border. All right, so that's the main difference. The other difference is the Border Maker cartridges, you need these other pieces to make them work. You need the guide and you need the this piece that the Border Maker cartridge slides into. Whereas the Border Maker punches are standalone. So this is all you need to make the border. So tonight, because a couple weeks ago I did a Tool Time with the Border Maker cartridges, tonight we're going to just talk about the Border Maker punches. Now you know how I feel about the Border Maker cartridges. I love that tool. It's one of my favorite tools. Just a note on the newest cartridge, which is the flip-flop cartridge, right? For the Border Maker system. These are labeled on the CM website as hot. They started doing that now. They label them hot with red letters, and that's letting you know that it's selling faster and at a pace quicker than they expected. So that is probably one that will sell out. So if you didn't order one, you'll want to do that. And I ordered a few extra for those of you that didn't get on the first order. Okay, so Border Maker punches. Here we go. So just like all of the other Creative Memories punches, there's this little switch on the back, which will allow it to actually work. In this position, it's locked. This is how you store it. So you can't punch with it like this. Now, on this side, you'll notice there is a picture of the border it punches. So if it's on a shelf or standing up in a bag, I store mine like this, and I can see which border punch it is. I don't store them stacked this way inside a bag, because then I have to dig through them all. So I stand them up like this. All right, so we switch that button. So now it's ready to punch. The other thing to draw your attention to, and I know it's really hard to tell, I'm trying to catch the light just right. There is a line right here, and there's a line right here. They are spaced different distances apart on each one of the border punches. Now, if you've ever watched a tutorial on these border punches before, you might see that some people draw with a Sharpie line up onto the border maker itself so that they can see where it is from the side. Hi, Gail. So now the latest border maker punch is the train tracks, and you'll notice that now Creative Memories is actually pre-printing the lines on the top, just because it's so helpful to have those, because they correspond with the lines on the inside. And you really want to try to start with your paper flush against one side or the other side of these lines, so you can see why having a line on the outside is really helpful. Alrighty, so let's start punching. I'm going to start with the newest one, the train track, and I will point out, just a couple other quick things. So just like our border makers, hey Jackie, if you watched my border maker cartridge tutorial, right? I told you a little trick that if it's flat along the bottom, the design, that means it's going to stay attached to the paper. And if it's not flat, then that means it'll fall away. The border will fall away. Okay? So this is attached to the paper, it falls away. Well, the same thing is true with these border punches, the bigger border punches. So the way you tell them is if it's got silver here at the bottom, then it will fall away. So these birds, I'm going to punch them so you can see it. They're going to be just a string of birds. The train tracks, a string of train tracks, and you'll see because I'm going to demonstrate that one. This one, which I love, right? Little fish scales. See the blue on the bottom? That means it's going to stay attached to the paper. This one, the Dazzle border punch, stays attached to the paper. This Tulips one stays attached to the paper. Okay? So when you're ordering, if you're wondering, oh gee, I wonder what that looks like punched, now you know. So those ones that stay attached to the paper, of course you could trim them off, but it just takes an extra step. Now, another thing, just like these black lines, I'll tell you what, I can appreciate Creative Memories, how they obviously take feedback and apply it. So people were doing this on their own, marking the tools, and so then they started doing it. The other thing that they're doing, do you notice how on this punch, the pattern is just the same pattern? It repeats itself over and over again. So you'll see when I'm starting to punch that it's kind of hard to know how much to overlap, and you'll see what I mean in a second. But with this tool, and it's kind of hard to tell, they've added a little triangle notch for you to line up to. So, and that's just so helpful. You don't need it in things like this because it's very easy to line up this middle bird when you're punching. But you do need it in something like this that just repeats. All right, so let's just do some of these. So this one's got the handy dandy line on the front. So even standing up overhead, I know it's hard to tell from your angle, but I can tell that I'm lined up right to the edge. Now you can start from either side. You can actually just start anywhere in between those two lines. So if you just shoot right for the middle, you're going to be fine. What's nice is if you're trying to match up a pattern, it's nice to know exactly where you started. And if you throw your paper just straight into the middle and you're trying to like layer a design and you want them to match up, then that can be that can be hard. Okay, so this is lined up. I like to hold this edge flat against the back, and then we push. Now what we're going to do is slide this over until this little triangle down here matches up with the triangle on this side. Now there's a little piece that gets cut away in the process of cutting, so if you're pushing this side to line up, you're going to get crooked. So you always want to make sure that this side over here is flat with the edge, whichever side you're not feeding through. So then we feed through to the next triangle, feed through to the next triangle, oops, wow, earthquake. Woo, sorry about that, everyone. Working in a tight spot here. Once the piece disappears inside the trimmer, then you're just using the pattern to line up. Okay, so now I've got my train track. What I also love is, with a little bit of imagination, you can think of other things to use these punches for. So here we have a train track. Obviously, it's a train track. Could be a ladder. You could have it on a playground page. Let's see, I punched it out of white. Now we have a picket fence. And look at how cute this looks. I took the picket fence. If you don't have like a grass border maker cartridge, and that's one that's retired and it's very sought after, I cut the heads of the tulip off to make some grass. And then here I cut the tulips. Oh, a barbed wire fence. Nice. How pretty that looks. So you definitely, it's not, you know, these punches aren't one purpose. To me, like, I see fish scales, but I feel like I also see a crowd of people, like, you know, little little heads in a crowd maybe. All right. I'm going to do some birds for you here. Okay, it's just to show you another one that falls away. So again, I've got my lines here and here, and it's really hard to see those lines, so you can just kind of go anywhere. But yeah, isn't it great as a fence? You're probably going to, if you just go any old place, you're going to maybe interrupt a bird. Oh my, what happened to my bird? Come back, bird. So you're just lining up the middle bird for this one. And you slide it over to the middle bird. Slide it. Okay. And now I've got my birds. And I've got our picket fence. Now, if you want to do a string and you don't want them to line up, so for this, I just, what I'm going to do is the tulip again, and I'm just going to plop it in the middle just to show you that these can work either direction. So ideally, like I said, you want it to start between those lines that you see on the bottom. However, if you're just talking with your scrapbooking buddies and you punch in the middle like this, you're just going to have to slide either way. So we're going to slide this way first, and line up this little tulip and punch, and punch again. It's just a little bit, but it's enough that we have to punch. And it's just key to go right over the pattern, and then we're gonna go back this way. So we line up that tulip and punch again. Yeah, aren't the birds fun? I think the birds are really fun. Okay, so this one, the dark green, get all these guys out of the way. This one, the dark green, I lined up. So see how now they're not perfectly aligned? You can also flip it this way. So now you get some tulips going different directions. So you can definitely do rows and rows and layer them. And you can play around with the placing of what you like as far as what's in the front and what's in the back. And then we can bring our birds back. All right. So I showed you some of the fall away ones, and I did show you the tulip, and this is what it looks like when it's attached. Okay, so the Border Maker punches that have the blue on the bottom that stay attached. Okay, so I'm going to show you some other fun things that you can do with those. So if you've been scrapbooking for a while, you may have some things like this, these little journal boxes, and you're not really sure what to do with them. So these items, these punches that stay together, that stay on the page, that don't punch away from the page. This is the word I'm looking for. Make really cute journal boxes. So you can use it as is, or we can cut a little piece of white, you can put a piece of white paper on there. Yeah, Jackie, isn't that great? And now the new ones will have the marks, so it makes it so much easier. So I love using these ones that stay attached on my journal boxes, because of course one of the things we all struggle with is journaling, right? Writing. So this way we can okay. So how cute is that for a little journal box on a fishing page? Or like I said, to me, it kind of looks like a crowd, like a tennis match or something like that. Alrighty. Now a couple other fun things with these punches that stay attached to the paper. So I've got 2 squares. Yes, eggs, yep. 2 squares. One is 6 by 6. One is 5 by 5. Remember way back in the day when we did strips and triangles? I'm going to cut this into 2 triangles. And you can do this with a full sheet of 12 by 12 as well. You won't be able to cut it on the 12-inch trimmer turned in a diagonal, but you can fold it and cut it with scissors. It works just as well. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so now I'm going to take this one. This is one of my favorites. Oh, and by the way, if you are loving this tulip one, this is on last chance. So that means the inventory on this one is getting low. Again, $27.50. You can message me, and I can add it to my next order, or you can order from my website. You've been struggling with your picket fence? You mean this one? If you've been struggling with the railroad, then just make sure that that little triangle is lined up. And with all of these, make sure you're applying pressure to the side that hasn't been cut yet, because things will tip if you're pushing on the side that's already been cut. I'll show, this is a really good one to give you an example of that. Okay, are you talking, Gail, maybe you're talking about the border maker cartridge instead of the border punch. At any rate, you could message me and I'm happy to give some suggestions. Okay, so we're going to take the long end of this triangle. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That one's not available anymore. Gotcha. So this one, it might be this. Okay. So I've got this cut out, right? You want to keep the pressure on this side, on the flat side, because once this goes in, you can see where it is easy. Your tendency is to want to make it flush over here, and this is true of all of these. You want to make it flush so it has some stability, but then you're going to end up with something crooked. So you want to hold it in place so that it's covering up this blue pattern underneath. And so it's hard to tell here, but you can see I'm not touching this back wall. There is contact inside. I can feel the pressure. It's meeting on the inside, but it is not touching out here. So try that. Maybe that will help, Gail. All right, so we're going that way. And now I'm going to go this way. Same thing. I'm not going to go flush against the back of the tool. I'm just going to push here. All right. So, isn't this a nice corner piece? That's so fun to do in the corners. I know, it's a problem, Wandalyn. All right, and then now I'm going to take the one that was 5 by 5. I'm going to do the same thing. Just kind of go in the center. And then I'm going to just cover that up, keeping the pressure on the inside of the tool. And there we go. All right, so one was a 6-inch square and the other one was a 5-inch square. Doesn't that look pretty? Now you can do that with any of these ones that stay attached. So you can do that with the fish scales. You can even do it with the tulips. Yay, I'm so excited. And it looks really great. Since it just takes a minute, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on a 2-page spread. You guys are funny. Yes, this is why I am an advisor. Because I need all of the things. All right. So now I've got 2. Now you can either use them like this. Yes, all of the border punches are $27.50. If it's a standalone punch, like the new firecracker punch that just came out, or the new fire campfire one, those ones are $22.50. They're not the border ones. The border ones are $27. So you can do it like this. You can also do them across a 2-page spread like this. So imagine I have one page like this. Oh, hello. That doesn't work. I have a page like this, and then on my second 2-page spread going this way. Does that make sense? So super easy to do that. So try it on a triangle. That'll be like my little challenge to you if you own any of these, to go ahead and try it on a triangle. And just think outside the box if you already have these. Like Gail was mentioning, she has the old picket fence that had little knobs. I'm not even sure that one was available to purchase, because some of these end up as like a gift with purchase with different things. That was like the Christmas present one a couple years ago, was if you spent a certain amount in December, you got a Christmas present one free with your order. And I've seen some great ideas with the Christmas presents where people are turning them into plants and succulents and all kinds of things. So definitely think outside the box when these first come out. Because, you know, if you're like, oh, I'm not into trains, then you'd miss out on the picket fence. if you didn't have the picket fence one. So definitely think about what else you can do with it, and try one of the cuts on the diagonal, and let me know if you have any questions or if I can help you with anything. And yes, okay, yep, trains, yep, train track, ladder, can be a jungle gym ladder, can be lots of things. It's a super fun punch. They all are, right? So if anyone doesn't have any question, if you have questions, you can mention them in the comments. You can also message me on this page. This is Tara, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. I think we have something going on this week. What else is happening? Let's see. Yes, project recipe, the size of the diagonal. Linda, you can do any size square. So I did a 6x6 square, and I did a 5x5 square. So you would definitely want to do an inch down or up in any direction. But 6 and 5, I found, makes a nice corner piece. And so yeah, project recipe on Thursday. There's an event posted on my Daytona area scrapbooking page. Go to that. You'll need some cardstock, and you'll need to, if you want to print some pictures ahead of time, you can. And I'm going to take you through a project recipe. We'll make a 2-page spread. So you can gather your tools, gather some pics if you want. If you don't want to gather pics, you can always add them after. So I guess that's it. Oh, one more thing is my card class. I have 2 kits left, just 2 of the card kits left for next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. It's still time for me to deliver or ship. So if you want me to ship them to you, it takes a couple days. I can ship them wherever in the U.S. And you can join us for a card class. It's dark botanicals, purples and blacks and butterflies. It's really pretty flowers. Anyway, thanks all for joining me tonight, and just message me if you have any questions or if you need any of these border punches. Hope you learned something tonight. Stay scrappy, friends. Bye-bye.